Let's get something straight right from the beginning. Most people fail not because they lack talent, drive, or resources. They fail because they never took the time to define with absolute clarity what they actually want. You can't hit a target you can't see, and you sure as hell can't outperform anyone else if you're still trying to figure out what game you're even playing. So let me ask you something real. If I stopped you on the street right now and said, "What does being unstoppable look like to you?" Could you answer in one sentence? Could you tell me what you're chasing with such precision that there's zero room for doubt? Because that's where it all starts. Not with a dream, not with a vision board, not with motivational quotes on your phone wallpaper. It starts with the raw, unfiltered clarity of purpose. See, we live in a world that rewards noise. Everyone's shouting, everyone's posting, everyone's claiming to hustle, but few are moving with precision, few are building with intent, and fewer still are ruthless enough to say no to anything that doesn't drive them toward that one clear outcome they've burned into their mind. The people who outperform others aren't just working hard, they're working smart, aligned, and obsessively focused. They don't wake up and guess what the day is about. They wake up already knowing. Every hour is accounted for. Every move is strategic. That's the edge most people never even think about. It's not just about doing more, it's about doing what matters most with intensity and consistency. When I talk about clarity, I don't mean surface level goals like I want to be rich or I want to be successful. That's weak language. That's the language of people who stay stuck. You've got to go deeper. Rich how? Doing what? By when? What's the lifestyle look like? What's the scoreboard? Because if you can't describe it, you can't build it. And don't just define what you want, define what you won't tolerate. Draw a line in the sand and declare what's no longer acceptable in your life. That's part of clarity too, having the courage to cut off all the plan Bs and the safety nets and say, I'm either going to get what I came for, or I'll burn out chasing it, but I'm not settling. Clarity creates certainty, certainty creates speed, and speed wins. So many people are paralyzed because they're trying to keep their options open. Let me tell you something. Options are distractions dressed up as freedom. You don't need a million options. You need one decision backed by action, reinforced by discipline. Once that's in place, everything else falls into line. Your environment starts to reflect it. The people around you either rise with you or get filtered out. Your habits shift. Your energy sharpens. And suddenly, what felt impossible becomes inevitable. The truth is, you're either designing your life or defaulting into someone else's. And if you don't decide who you are, what you want, and where you're going, life will decide for you. And trust me, it won't be in your favor. You want to be unstoppable? Then be unshakable in your direction. Be unapologetic about your vision. Be so clear that doubt doesn't even have a place to hide. The moment you get laser focused on your outcome is the moment you start moving like someone who's already there. Let's cut through the noise. Motivation is a liar. It shows up when it wants, disappears when you need it most, and tricks people into thinking it's the secret to greatness. It's not. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems, and your systems are your habits, period. If there's one thing that separates the elite performers from everyone else, it's this. They don't wait to feel like doing the work, they just do the work. They've trained themselves to operate from discipline, not emotion, because if you're relying on feelings to drive your action, you've already lost. There's nothing sustainable about that. What's sustainable is building routines so solid, so locked in, that they carry you even on your worst days. Habits are your autopilot. They're the background code running your life, whether you know it or not. And if that code is weak, if it's full of procrastination, distraction, comfort seeking, and inconsistency, then no matter how big your dreams are, they're going nowhere. But if your habits are strong, built with intention, backed by purpose, and reinforced daily, then you're unstoppable, whether you feel like it or not. You want to know how champions are made? It's not the big moves, it's not some flashy one-time effort that goes viral. It's the quiet, unsexy, repetitive actions they commit to every single day, long after the spotlight fades. It's getting up early when no one's watching. It's hitting the gym when every fiber of their body says stay in bed. It's making the call, writing the email, reviewing the plan when they could easily coast on yesterday's wins. This is where most people fall off. They think success is about intensity. It's not. It's about consistency. Anybody can sprint for a day, anybody can grind for a week, but can you show up every damn day, especially when no one's clapping, especially when it feels like nothing's working? That's where the separation happens. That's where the real ones pull ahead while everyone else talks about potential. And here's something most people miss. Your habits don't just shape your results, they shape your identity. Every time you show up when it's hard, when it's boring, when it's inconvenient, you cast a vote for the kind of person you're becoming. You're not just doing the thing, you're becoming the type of person who does the thing. That's how you go from trying to succeeding, from hoping to expecting, from maybe to must. But don't get this twisted. It's not about doing everything. It's about doing the right things over and over again with precision and purpose. You have to become a master of repetition. Build habits around the non-negotiables. Ruthlessly protect those routines. And when life throws chaos your way, and it will, it's those habits that will keep you grounded, focused, and moving forward while everyone else is scrambling to recover. Think about this. Every day, you're either reinforcing habits that make you stronger or ones that make you weaker. There is no neutral. Every choice is a vote. Every action is a brick. The question is, what are you building? So if you're serious about outperforming the rest, stop chasing motivation and start mastering your habits. Because the truth is, discipline is freedom. Structure is strength. And the people who dominate in any arena are the ones who've trained themselves to do what needs to be done, especially when they don't feel like it. Your habits will either chain you or set you free. If you want to outperform everyone else, if you want to be truly unstoppable, then here's a truth most people will never tell you. You have to outlearn everyone. That's not optional. That's not a nice to have. That's the foundation. Because the second you stop learning, you start dying. And I'm not talking about school. I'm not talking about degrees or titles or certificates. I'm talking about raw, relentless, aggressive self-education that never stops. The world is moving fast. Markets shift. Skills evolve. Opportunities don't sit still. And while most people are busy entertaining themselves, distracting themselves, numbing out their discomfort with content that adds nothing to their life, you've got to be devouring knowledge like your life depends on it. Because in many ways, it does. You want to be a weapon in your field? Then sharpen your mind like a blade. Study your craft. Study human behavior. Study decision-making. Study leadership. Study communication. Learn from people who've already done what you want to do. And don't just listen. Absorb, apply, execute. Turn lessons into action. That's how you stay ahead. The top 1% didn't get there by accident. They're obsessed with growth. They read the books most people won't finish. They ask the questions most people are afraid to ask. They invest in coaching, mentorship, and learning opportunities even when it's uncomfortable, especially when it's uncomfortable. Why? Because they know the cost of staying the same is far greater than the price of leveling up. And you've got to drop the ego to grow. That's the tough part for a lot of people. They want to look smart more than they want to be smart. They want to appear like they've got it figured out instead of admitting they don't. And that pride keeps them stuck. But if you're willing to be a student always, if you're willing to say, I don't know it all, but I'm committed to learning, then you're already ahead of 90% of the population. Let me tell you what learning really looks like. It's not just reading a book or watching a video. It's extracting the insight, digesting the lesson, and then doing something with it. It's about creating a feedback loop where life itself becomes your greatest classroom. Every win teaches you something. Every failure teaches you more. Every person, every experience, every setback, it's all data. It's all usable. But only if you're paying attention. Only if you're asking yourself the right questions. And here's the thing. Learning doesn't just elevate your skills. It rewires your mindset. It upgrades your decision making. It builds your confidence. Because now you're operating with knowledge instead of guesswork. You don't panic under pressure because you've trained for it. You don't get thrown off course because you've studied what to expect. And you don't back down because you've already seen the path laid out by people who've done it before you. The moment you commit to outlearning everyone else, something shifts. You stop playing defense, you stop reacting to life, you start building your advantage. Quietly, consistently, day by day, and eventually the people who laughed at your obsession, who didn't take your growth seriously, will wonder how you passed them by so quickly. Knowledge compounds, just like money. The more you stack it, the more powerful it becomes. So never stop feeding the mind. Never stop asking how you can get better. Never stop evolving, because in a world that never stops changing, the most dangerous person in the room is the one who never stops learning. We're afraid it's a theme song from the Discomfort zones are crowded. Everyone's trying to stay safe. Stay warm, stay in control. But nothing grows in that space. You've got to be willing to go where most people won't go. You've got to be willing to get uncomfortable on purpose, daily. Not once in a while, not when it's convenient. Every single day you've got to lean into the friction and say, this is where I build who I am. Every time you dodge discomfort, you reinforce weakness. You tell your mind, avoid the hard thing. Stay where it's easy. And guess what? That becomes your operating system. It becomes your identity. But when you flip that, when you start stepping toward what's difficult, you send a new message. This is what we do. We chase pressure. We don't flinch. You want to know why the elite keep winning? It's not because they enjoy suffering. It's because they've trained themselves to find power in the pain. They understand that adversity doesn't break you. It reveals you. It exposes your gaps, and in doing that, it gives you the chance to fill them. It gives you the opportunity to transform. Most people quit the moment it gets uncomfortable. That's where the separation begins, right there. The second it burns, the second it stretches, the second it requires more than they thought they had, boom, they back off. But if you push through that threshold, you discover something that changes everything. You realize you're capable of way more than you imagined. You realize discomfort is just a signal that growth is happening, that the process is working. It's in the cold showers, the early alarms, the tough conversations, the workouts you don't want to do, the risks that scare the hell out of you. That's where confidence is built. That's where resilience is born. Not in theory, in the trenches. And listen, quote, discomfort is not chaos. It's not recklessness. It's controlled intensity. It's being deliberate about choosing hard things that elevate you. It's strategic suffering. It's walking into resistance with your eyes wide open and your purpose dialed in. Because that's how you build the kind of mental toughness that nothing can shake. If you want to be unstoppable, then comfort can't be your goal. Progress has to be, and progress demands pain. It demands you get over your need to feel good all the time and instead get obsessed with getting better. It demands that you put pressure on yourself before the world does. So ask yourself, are you avoiding discomfort or are you hunting it? Are you playing life not to lose or are you playing to win? because the ones who rise, the ones who outperform, they're not more gifted, they're just more conditioned. They've trained their nervous system to stay calm in chaos. They've taught their body to keep going when it's tired, and they've wired their mind to find clarity in pressure. You can either be comfortable or you can be legendary, but you can't be both. Let me tell you something that most people miss while they're out there chasing results, chasing status, chasing success. They forget about the fight. They forget that no matter how much clarity you have, no matter how solid your habits are, no matter how much you learn, how uncomfortable you're willing to get, or how well you protect your energy, there will come a time when it all gets tested. Life is going to hit you hard, and in that moment, it's not your plan that saves you, it's your grit. Resilience is the edge that separates winners from the rest. Everyone's disciplined when things go right. Everyone's focused when it's easy. But the minute it breaks down, the minute it takes longer than expected, the minute life throws that curveball, you start to see who's really serious. Because it's in the dark, not the light, where champions are built. The world doesn't care about your excuses. Life doesn't slow down because you're tired. You want to stand out. You want to outperform everyone else. Then you've got to outlast them. It's not the flashiest. It's not the fastest. It's the one who refuses to fold. The one who shows up broken and still gives everything they've got. The one who keeps swinging when the odds are stacked and nobody's clapping. That's the person who wins. See, persistence isn't a talent. It's a decision. It's choosing to show up when your emotions beg you to quit. It's holding the line when nothing around you gives you a reason to believe. It's staying in the game, round after round, because something deep inside you says, I didn't come this far to walk away. That voice, that fire, that's what makes you unstoppable. And I get it. There are going to be moments when quitting feels justified. You'll feel tired, discouraged, alone. You'll look around and wonder if all this pressure is even worth it. That's when you've got to remember who you are. That's when you've got to remember why you started. The dream wasn't just about success. It was about proving to yourself that you could become the kind of person who never backs down. It's not about perfection. It's about durability. You fall, get up. You fail, learn. You break, rebuild. You don't need to be indestructible. You need to be unrelenting. There's a difference, because the people who get what they want in this life aren't immune to pain, doubt, or failure. They just don't let those things decide their outcome. And here's what makes this even more powerful. When you commit to never quitting, when you make that decision ironclad in your soul, everything else changes. Your energy shifts, your confidence rises, your standard elevates. Because now you're not hoping for success, you're demanding it from yourself. You're becoming the kind of person who finishes. Let the others stop when it gets hard. Let them talk about what they almost did. That's not you. You weren't built for average. You weren't wired to fold. You were made to rise, to adapt, to outlast the noise, the doubt, the setbacks, and come back harder every time. When you develop the resilience to keep moving forward no matter what, you don't just outperform everyone else, you outlive the competition. You break through, you dominate, you win. Because the person who refuses to quit is the person no one can stop.